Have you ever imagined that a single penny in your loose change could be worth a small fortune? Welcome to another fascinating deep dive into the hidden treasures of American coinage, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary and history whispers its secrets through copper and zinc. And today we're diving into the incredible story of the 1975 USA 1-cent coin, a coin that once held a face value of merely 1 cent but is now valued at a staggering $159 due to its rare minting details, hidden errors, and historical significance that collectors and numismatists have been chasing for years. And if you've ever wondered how such a small and commonly overlooked coin could climb to such heights in value, then strap in, because this journey is packed with unexpected twists, mysterious anomalies, and the kind of historical facts that'll make you rethink every penny you've ever tossed into a jar or left under your car seat, because this coin is not just copper, it's a slice of America's economic and minting past, wrapped in a tiny circular artifact that continues to surprise collectors all over the world. And our story begins in the bustling halls of the Denver Mint in 1975, a time when inflation, economic shifts, and changes in public sentiment were affecting the smallest denominations in American currency. And while 1975 itself was not a transition year like 1982, it still holds incredible importance due to the volume of coins produced, the variations in striking quality, and the often overlooked anomalies that crept into circulation under the radar. And one of the reasons the 1975 penny stands out is due to its often inconsistent strike quality, weak reverses, and doubled dies that were sometimes faint but very real, with mint workers under pressure to meet production quotas, and the result being a slew of small but significant mint errors that only the trained eye could identify. And when those errors were found years later, their value skyrocketed among collectors who knew just how rare authentic 1975 double die obverse or reverse coins could be, especially in higher grades where wear and tear didn't obliterate the unique characteristics. And these features include things like a doubled "In God We Trust," a misaligned "Liberty," or a shadowed 1975 date, which when struck improperly, resulted in a coin that the average person would spend without a second thought but a collector would hold onto like a golden ticket. And let's not forget the significance of the Denver Mint mark D itself, which during the mid-1970s was sometimes slightly misplaced, punched low or off-center, giving way to rare varieties that today command hundreds of dollars at auctions. And that's not even getting into the full range of error types, which include off-center strikes, die cracks, clip planchets, lamination errors, and the legendary BIE error between the B and E of Liberty, caused by a die break that makes it look like there's an I in the word. These small details become massive contributors to value when paired with a solid preservation state. And this is why so many coins graded MS-65 or higher can sell for incredible amounts, because not only are mint state coins rarer after decades of circulation, but any accompanying error or anomaly only magnifies their worth. And then there's the deep rabbit hole of copper composition. The 1975 penny, like others from its era, was struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc, but sometimes due to inconsistencies in planchet manufacturing, slight weight deviations, or even composition oddities have been found, sparking interest in specimens that vary just enough from the standard 3.11 grams weight to make collectors question whether they're holding a transitional planchet or a planchet from a foreign coin blank mistakenly fed into the presses. And while that might sound like a stretch, it's happened before, making the 1975 penny a worthy coin to weigh and examine under magnification, because you never know if you've got that one in a million piece. And the obsession with this penny goes even deeper when you consider how many of them were produced, over 4.5 billion struck in Denver alone, which should statistically make valuable finds unlikely. Yet therein lies the thrill, because despite the massive mintage, the number of errors and high-grade preserved examples with distinct features are so minuscule that the hunt becomes a numismatic needle in a haystack situation, perfect for dedicated collectors and accidental hobbyists alike who stumble across pocket change. Gold and auction records continue to reflect this fascination, with circulated coins showing even the faintest signs of doubling or mint flaw selling for well over the $159 mark depending on condition, provenance, and market demand at the time. And the coin community frequently buzzes with sightings of new errors or rediscovered varieties in this date and mint mark, making it a consistent talking point in online forums, YouTube channels, and collector guides that seek to document every known anomaly tied to this unassuming but shockingly valuable penny. And it also helps that the 1975 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse Series, which itself has gone through multiple design updates and shifts in engraving quality over its decades of use. And slight inconsistencies in the steps of the Lincoln Memorial or the spacing of the columns can add subtle points of differentiation that numismatists catalog with careful scrutiny. and for some collectors, assembling a full run of Lincoln pennies from 1959 to 2008 with high-grade errors is a lifelong pursuit that makes coins like the 1975 D an essential piece of the puzzle, and of course, as with any collectible, the story behind the coin only adds to its mystique, whether it's tales of old coin roll hunters finding these gems by surprise, or heirs inheriting a humble-looking coin collection only to realize one of the coins is worth 100 times its face value. These real-life narratives fuel the public imagination and draw more and more eyes toward a coin that many thought was just spare change, and this growing awareness is reflected in the uptick of 1975 D pennies being submitted to grading companies like PCGS and NGC, whose population reports indicate just how few examples achieve the top grades needed to demand the highest prices, making those MS66 or MS67 graded 1975 D pennies not only coveted but sometimes entirely elusive, and as collectors chase after these coins, it becomes clear that the hobby isn't just about the money, it's about the history, the mystery, and the personal connection to American heritage through tangible artifacts that once passed from hand to hand, through vending machines, into lunchboxes, and across generations, carrying with them stories we'll never fully know but still find meaning in today. And maybe the most thrilling part of all is the possibility that such a coin could still be out there, in a junk drawer, an old piggy bank, or at the bottom of a dusty change jar just waiting to be found by someone with a sharp eye and a bit of curiosity, because the world of coin collecting isn't reserved for museums or millionaire collectors. It's open to everyone who takes the time to look closely, learn the signs, and follow the trail of value and rarity wherever it leads. And as more people become aware of the potential hidden in coins like the 1975 D penny, the more this humble piece of metal becomes a beacon for adventure, history, and financial opportunity. And so if you've enjoyed this deep exploration into one of America's surprisingly valuable cents, and you're eager to learn more about the coins that could change your financial luck and historical understanding forever, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another incredible coin story that could turn your pocket change into treasure. Next. Today's spotlight is on a seemingly ordinary but shockingly prized 2011 D 1-cent coin, a penny that at face value is just 1 cent, but due to a host of rare and fascinating errors and minting mistakes, it's been valued in the collector's market at an astounding $32 or even higher depending on its condition, rarity level, and error type. So buckle up as we take you into the world of numismatic mysteries and dive deep into every tiny detail and possibility that transforms this common copper-plated zinc coin minted in Denver into a small piece of history with big money value. And trust us when we say this, what you're about to discover will completely change the way you look at pocket change forever, because these error coins aren't just accidents, they're treasures, rare snapshots of imperfections in a system otherwise obsessed with precision. And the 2011 D Lincoln cent is a perfect example of how error-driven collecting has taken the numismatic world by storm, with a growing community of hobbyists, professionals, and treasure hunters alike all scouting for unique anomalies. And what makes the 2011 D coin such an exciting case study is the variety and type of errors known to occur on this minting batch, which include double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, cut breaks, plating blisters, and more. So let's start peeling back the layers on what exactly to look for and how these flaws can significantly increase the value of a coin. And it begins with one of the most sought-after and discussed features among error collectors, the double die. Now on a 2011 D penny, a double die error can show up most often in the lettering, such as in the motto, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date itself, and under magnification or with a good eye you might spot slight overlapping or shadow-like impressions that reveal that the die struck the coin more than once in slightly misaligned fashion. And though not as dramatic as earlier double dies like the 1955 or 1969's examples, collectors still love a clear, verifiable doubling on modern pennies because it's much rarer due to advances in minting technology which are supposed to prevent such errors, making any legitimate double die 2011 D Lincoln cent a hot find. And then there are off-center strikes, another thrilling error type that can elevate a penny's value from 1 cent to many dollars depending on the percentage of misalignment and how visible the design remains. And in some 2011 D pennies, off-center strikes have been reported ranging from a barely noticeable 5% shift to dramatic 50% or more, where part of the design is missing entirely and a blank planchet space is visible, which collectors find extremely appealing, especially if the date and mint mark are still fully visible, because that's what confirms authenticity and makes the coin not just a curiosity but a verified rarity. And speaking of planchets, improper planchet preparation has resulted in some 2011 D cents being struck on Defective or improper planchets such as thin planchets, underweight planchets, or even mismatched metal compositions, though exceedingly rare, when such mismatches occur, like a zinc planchet improperly alloyed or a planchet from another coin series mistakenly used, these become major finds that can sell for much higher than average. And it's not just planchets that go wrong, the dies themselves wear down or get damaged, which is where you get fantastic varieties like die cracks and cut breaks. And on the 2011 D penny, several specimens have shown signs of die cracks, often running through Lincoln's portrait, the field, or across the reverse Union Shield design, which appears on this year's cent instead of the old Lincoln Memorial, and those die cracks are like miniature scars on the coin, each one unique, and the larger or more distinct the crack, the higher the collector interest, and cut breaks, which occur when a part of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob of metal on the finished coin, are also especially eye-catching on 2011 DS, with most common placements found on the rims or in corners of the shield design. And moving to plating errors, since the 2011 D penny is a copper-plated zinc coin, improper adhesion of the copper layer can cause bubbling, flaking, or blistering on the surface, which creates a blistered appearance that not only looks dramatic but also qualifies as a mint error, and collectors often pay handsomely for coins where these bubbles are especially large or numerous, and of course these must be verified as genuine mint errors and not post-mint damage like chemical corrosion, so it's always recommended to have coins evaluated by a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC, which can officially attribute error types and establish market grade values. And then there's the possibility of struck-through errors where foreign material like grease, cloth fibers, or debris interfere during striking and leave permanent depressions or distortions in the coin's surface, which can cause parts of the design to be missing or look smeared or incomplete, and these can vary greatly in value depending on severity and location. But some of the more extreme struck-through errors on 2011 D cents have sold for up to $50 a piece, especially when the error is dramatic and affects a prominent part of the coin like Lincoln's face or the central part of the shield. And there's also the intriguing world of misaligned dies and die clashes, both of which can cause wild and beautiful results that draw collectors in, as a misaligned die might make one side of the coin appear tilted or off compared to the other, and a die clash occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring part of each design onto the other die and thus onto coins struck afterwards, resulting in ghost-like impressions of reverse features on the obverse or vice versa. And although relatively subtle on many 2011 DS, a clear die clash still adds character and collectability, especially among specialists who hunt down every clash variety and catalog them meticulously. And don't forget about minor varieties and anomalies like weak strikes, filled dies, or repunched mint marks, all of which can occur under high-speed automated conditions, especially during periods of high coin production like 2011, when millions of pennies were minted at the Denver facility, increasing the chances of slip-ups even in modern, tightly controlled processes. And the Denver Mint, known for its generally high-quality output, occasionally lets a few flawed coins slip through, and these outliers are exactly what collectors are hunting for, because they represent moments where the machine meets unpredictability. And many collectors and resellers on auction sites like eBay have been showcasing and selling these flawed 2011 D cents for above $30, especially those that are well documented with close-up photographs and sometimes third-party grading. And part of what drives the value even higher is scarcity. While billions of pennies are minted, only a very small number of those will exhibit dramatic or collectible errors, and even fewer still will be found and preserved before circulation damage degrades them, making mint state or uncirculated condition error pennies from this year even more desirable and expensive. And if you're wondering how to start searching for valuable 2011 D errors yourself, the best place is your spare change, followed by bulk coin lots, estate sales, garage sales, or online mixed coin rolls where these overlooked gems might still be hiding in plain sight. And armed with a 10x loupe or USB microscope, patience, and a good understanding of what to look for, you might just stumble on one of these $32 error pennies that could someday be worth even more as collector demand increases and high-grade error coins become harder to find. And one crucial tip for beginner collectors is always to verify authenticity. Counterfeits do exist even for modern error coins, so whether you find a dramatic off-center strike or a bold double die, consider submitting your coin to a reputable grading service, not just to preserve its condition but also to give it a certified grade and error attribution, which increases its trustworthiness and market value. And many serious collectors will only buy authenticated error coins, especially as prices go higher, so this small investment in grading can turn a cool find into a certified treasure. And finally, keep in mind that the story of the 2011 D penny is part of a broader numismatic narrative, one where everyday objects like a 1-cent coin can become conversation pieces, collector obsessions, and financial assets simply because they reflect a break from the norm. And in a world of machine perfection, it's the flaws, the quirks, the accidents that truly capture attention and value, and whether you're a casual enthusiast or an experienced collector, the 2011 D1-cent era coin represents an exciting and attainable entry into the fascinating world of rare coins, and who knows, your next grocery store receipt change might hold a 2011 D penny with a misaligned die, a blistered surface, or a double date worth not just $32 but perhaps even more in the right market at the right time. So stay curious, keep your eyes open, and happy hunting, because every coin tells a story, and the most valuable ones tell a story of beautiful imperfection that turns a 1-cent piece into a historical artifact worth celebrating. Last, we unravel the captivating story behind the 1995 1-cent coin from the United States, a seemingly ordinary penny that has stunned collectors and hobbyists across the globe with its unexpected value of up to $125 due to rare errors, unique minting mistakes, and unusual characteristics that have sparked widespread interest and fueled a market of eager buyers who are willing to pay far above its face value. And as we dive into this incredible tale, we will explore in meticulous detail how such a minor denomination coin has ascended to the ranks of numismatic treasures, becoming not only a collector's delight but also a potential investment piece hidden in plain sight. And to fully appreciate the rise in worth of this copper-plated zinc penny, minted in large quantities by the United States Mint in 1995, we must start by examining its historical backdrop, minting context, and the sheer volume of coins produced, which ironically increases the challenge of identifying the few valuable specimens that stand out due to their distinctive flaws and anomalies. And one of the most notorious and widely sought-after errors associated with the 1995 1-cent coin is the famous double die obverse, an error caused during the hubbing process in which a misalignment between the die and the coin blank results in a visible doubling of the inscriptions on the obverse side, especially noticeable on the word Liberty, the date, 1995, and the motto, In God We Trust, with this doubling being dramatic and clear to the naked eye in the strongest examples, creating a visually stunning effect that has captivated seasoned collectors and casual hobbyists alike. And what sets this double die obverse apart from other varieties is not just its visual prominence but also the sheer number of fakes and imitations that have entered circulation, making authentic examples all the more precious. And while tens of thousands of 1995 double die cents were indeed minted and discovered early on, their numbers remain proportionally small compared to the more than 6.5 billion 1995 pennies struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and therein lies the core of its value, scarcity combined with visual intrigue and collector demand. And further adding to the allure of the 1995 cent are other error types such as off-center strikes, which occur when the coin blank is not properly aligned during the striking process, resulting in a coin image that appears misaligned or partially missing. And these off-center errors can range from minor to dramatic depending on the degree of misalignment, with the most valuable examples being those that retain full date visibility while also exhibiting a substantial off-center strike. And this balance of readability and error rarity significantly boosts a coin's desirability. And then there are die cracks, which can form due to stress or wear on the die, producing raised lines or patterns on the coin's surface that are unintentional and often unique to individual coins. And although die cracks are relatively common in circulating coins, the 1995 cent has produced some particularly notable die cracks that collectors refer to as cuds when a portion of the die face breaks off entirely, leaving a blob-like raised area on the coin. And such dramatic cuds, especially when found on the obverse side or affecting the lettering and Lincoln's portrait, can command significant premiums. And we must also consider broad strike errors, which occur when the collar that normally holds the coin blank in place during striking fails, causing the metal to spread out beyond its usual confines and resulting in a larger, thinner, and unusually shaped coin that lacks the typical raised rim. And although broad strikes are generally less dramatic than some other errors, examples from 1995 can still fetch impressive prices when combined with clear dates and good overall condition. And speaking of condition, it is essential to note that the value of error coins, like the 1995 cent, is highly dependent on their grade, with higher grade examples, especially those that are uncirculated or in mint state condition, being worth significantly more than heavily worn counterparts. And many collectors specifically seek out MS65 or higher grades certified by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC. And in addition to the physical state of the coin, provenance can also play a role, as coins from known hoards or those featured in notable auctions may garner additional attention and value. And another interesting facet of the 1995 1-cent journey into collector fame involves the misunderstanding and misidentification of machine doubling, a phenomenon where the die bounces slightly during striking, creating a shelf-like appearance that mimics true doubling but lacks the notching and clarity of a genuine doubled die. And educating collectors on how to distinguish true doubled dies from mechanical or ejection doubling has been a critical part of the numismatic community's effort to preserve integrity and ensure that only genuinely rare specimens receive the premium they deserve. And the growing popularity of coin collecting, fueled by social media, online marketplaces, and viral content, has also contributed to the rising value of rare 1995 cents, as more people scour their change jars, old collections, and bank rolls in search of hidden gems. And videos and posts showing people discovering valuable coins in circulation have inspired a new generation of hobbyists, creating fresh demand and further driving up prices for verified error coins. And some particularly noteworthy auction results have demonstrated this clearly, with high-grade 1995 double die obverse cents selling for over $100 and in exceptional cases even surpassing the $125 mark when combined with pristine condition and eye-catching error details. And as demand continues to surge, so does the importance of understanding what to look for, and those serious about coin hunting or investing would do well to equip themselves with a good magnifier or jeweler's loupe, reference materials, and possibly even professional guidance to accurately identify authentic errors. And while most people might dismiss the penny as pocket change, coins like the 1995 1-cent reveal just how much value can lie hidden in the mundane, offering both monetary reward and the thrill of discovery. And it's not just limited to the Philadelphia minted examples either. The 1995 D-cent, struck at the Denver Mint, has also produced its own share of minor errors, including repunchment marks, RPMs, where the D appears to have been stamped more than once, slightly off register, creating a shadow effect that appeals to specialists and drives up prices in the right conditions. And beyond the United States, interest in American coin errors spans the globe, with international collectors often willing to pay premiums for coins with documented provenance or particularly dramatic visual errors. And as coin technology continues to evolve and modern minting processes aim to reduce the frequency of such mistakes, coins like the 1995 error cents become even more valuable as relics of a less precise minting era, embodying the human element in mechanical processes and preserving a tangible piece of history in every flawed surface and doubled letter. And for those who are lucky enough to find one of these in their collection or pocket change, the journey from 1 cent to $125 is not just a matter of market forces, but also a testament to the enduring fascination with imperfection and rarity. And while we've covered the major error types and factors that influence value, it's also worth noting that coin collecting, particularly error coin collecting, is a deeply personal and often emotional pursuit for many individuals, with stories of grandparents passing down coin jars, childhood memories of roll searching, or the joy of learning and teaching others about coins, all contributing to the culture and community that make coins like the 1995 cent so much more than just currency. And as collectors continue to share knowledge, collaborate on forums, and attend shows or virtual auctions, the reputation and desirability of coins like the 1995 1-cent only grow stronger. And with every new discovery, whether it's a previously undocumented die variety or an unusually clean example of a known error, the story of this remarkable coin expands further, reminding us all that even the smallest denominations can carry big value when history, rarity, and curiosity come together. And so the next time you hold a penny in your hand, take a moment to look closer. You might just be holding a small fortune disguised as common change. And if you found this deep dive into the world of the 1995 1-cent fascinating and you're excited to learn more about valuable coins, rare errors, and hidden treasures in your everyday pocket change, then don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow enthusiasts, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an opportunity to uncover history, value, and surprises in the most unexpected places.